Hi guys, this is the Wrestling Retrospective, and in this video I will be doing a review of Elimination Chamber 2022. So in the kickoff show match we had Rey Mysterio defeating The Miz. I thought it was a pretty bang average match for the kickoff show. Like I said, I'm not really bothered about this feud at all, doesn't really interest me. I'm hoping it would be one and done for the premium live event. But after a backstage segment with Miz during the main show, he's bringing in a famous, I can't remember exactly what he said, but I know it's going to be a famous partner for the rest of the feud. Said it's probably going to build onto WrestleMania, especially if it's Logan Paul, like it suggested it will be, or at least the rumours have said it will be. I think The Miz should be doing more for WrestleMania this year, but another celebrity match for him is good because it's a safe pair of hands for a celebrity to have The Miz, but he should be in probably a title match or at least something a bit more interesting, but that's my personal opinion. So to kick off the main show, we had Roman Reigns defeating Goldberg for the Universal Championship. Match-wise, it was very short, but honestly, I wasn't concentrating on the match. I just wanted to make sure that Roman Reigns defeated Goldberg in this one. I was happy that Goldberg didn't win. I was very concerned at some points that he was going to walk out champion, but I think the correct choice was to go with Roman. I think having his first loss in about 2 years, or at least pinfall loss, so he did lose several rounds at the Royal Rumble. Having his first pinfall loss to Goldberg would have just been a complete waste of this last year and a bit of Roman Reigns being a dominant champion. But yeah, on the fact of him being champion, he's beaten now every former Universal Champion, which is a huge accomplishment. Also, nothing against Goldberg, but I do hope it's his last match, ever. I'm fed up of having to worry about if Goldberg will show up or not. But with WrestleMania around the corner, I can see him having his last match at WrestleMania, but I'm not sure. Nothing's really been said about Goldberg on the build up to WrestleMania so far through the news and stuff like that, but it wouldn't surprise me if he ended up on the show one way or another. So next up, Bianca Belair defeats Liv Morgan, Nikki ASH, Rhea Ripley, Alexa Bliss and Doudrop in the Elimination Chamber match to win the number one contendership for the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania. I thought this was an alright match. I expected more, and for an Elimination Chamber match it felt quite short. Nikki ASH got eliminated first by Rhea Ripley, which doesn't surprise me at all. Just some highlights really. Liv Morgan took a fucking beating at the hands of fucking everyone in the match, and again, as I keep continuously saying, she's impressing me more, but yeah, she really showed some toughness in this match because she was getting thrown about everywhere. They keep teasing Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair, which I think will be a really good match when we get to it. Obviously they had a short match in the gauntlet match on Raw, but I think they're going to have a full-blown one. I think that it'll be for the championship. Whether it will be after WrestleMania, I'm not sure, as I'm not sure who would win between Belair and the champion. But yeah, I think Rhea versus Bianca is going to be set up at some point. Alexa didn't look like she'd messed a step, even though she hasn't had a match since September. I thought she looked really good. Not sure quite where they're going with Alexa, because she was still doing not the spooky stuff, but she was very similar to the gimmick she had before, even though therapy is supposed to change the gimmick. I'm not sure where they're heading with that one. But yeah, overall the match, it was alright. Wasn't great, wasn't the best chamber match we've had, but it's certainly not the worst. So yeah, pretty average again really. Following that, Ronda Rousey and Naomi defeated the team of Charlotte Flair and Sonya Deville. Ronda Rousey had one hand tied behind her back, even though it wasn't really behind her back, it was on her front. And the match starts with Sonya Deville revealing that her arm is absolutely fine, even though it's been in a sling for about a few weeks now. The match itself was decent. I wasn't expecting much going into this, but I kind of enjoyed it in fairness. Flair and Sonya Deville seemed to make a half decent tag team in fairness. And Ronda Rousey looks good for her first proper in-ring return. I know that she was in the Rumble, that she wouldn't really show a lot during that one, whereas in this match she could show more, especially she had one hand tied at the side of her waist. But yeah, I thought this was quite good. Charlotte and Ronda had a lot more interaction than I thought they were going to. I thought they were going to make it very minimal between those two, especially as they're going to face each other at WrestleMania. I think this is a good way to set up WrestleMania, as well as have the Naomi and Sonya Deville feud carry on. Whether they'll have a one-on-one match at WrestleMania, I don't know, but I think they should, just to bury this feud for good, because I'm getting kind of sick of it, and I feel like Naomi should be doing something else. I also hope that Sonya Deville comes back to full-time competition instead of the Authority stuff, because she looks really good in ring, and again, as I expected a lot less out of this, and I enjoyed it. So overall, yeah, I liked it. It was alright. In the next match, Drew McIntyre defeated Madcap Moss with Baron Corbin by his side in a Falls Count Anywhere match. I didn't really enjoy this one. It was a bit of a mess. It felt very scrappy. Moss taking that horrific Alabama Slam where he landed straight onto his head was brutal, and like everyone, I was surprised that he could move, let alone finish the match. As for the feud itself, it seems like it's going to carry on till WrestleMania, with McIntyre going on to face Baron Corbin, Happy Corbin at WrestleMania. Again, similar to Miz, it feels like McIntyre could be doing a lot more going into WrestleMania. I know that Corbin's kind of been seen as a safe pair of hands for WrestleMania for a feud. Like he had Kurt Angle and he had Roman Reigns. Oh no, he didn't. Yeah, Kurt Angle, and he faced someone else at a different WrestleMania. I can't remember who it was now, but yeah, it just, I don't know. There's nothing interesting for me for this. It's all based on them taking the mick out of Scottish people and injuring Drew. Maybe Drew's still a little bit hurt, and they think that Corbin will be, as I said, a safe pair of hands to have for WrestleMania. But yeah, it just feels like he'll be doing more, and it's really nothing that interesting about this feud. But the match itself was very lackluster, so I didn't really enjoy this one really. Next up was Becky Lynch defeating Lita to retain the Raw Women's Championship. I thought this was match of the night by far. Lita looked awesome. Lynch with a huge win over a Hall of Famer. So now we're getting Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair at Mania. There's nothing I can say negative here from me. It was great, and kind of just keeping it short with this one, because I don't know what else to say really. It was really good. I definitely enjoyed it, and I do hope that Lita sticks around actually, for at least for a bit. I'm not sure who she's going to a feud with, but I'm sure they can figure that out. But Lita looked great, Becky looked great, awesome match. So the Usos versus Viking Raiders match didn't happen. The match didn't actually start. The Usos attacked the Viking Raiders during their entrance, and they were, I don't know whether those doctors are or not, I can't remember, but they couldn't do the match. It was just a bit shit really. It just doesn't make sense why the Usos would attack the Viking Raiders when the Viking Raiders themselves have looked so weak for the last few weeks on SmackDown. It just, you'd think that the Usos wouldn't be worried at all about losing the tag team championships, especially when Jimmy defeated Eric with 2 moves. I don't know whether it was like a lack of time, maybe they were running out of time or something, but it was just really rubbish and I hated it. So finally, in the main event, Brock Lesnar defeated Bobby Lashley, Austin Theory, Seth Rollins, AJ Styles and Riddle in the Elimination Chamber match to become the new WWE Champion. The match itself was really weak and quite disappointing in my opinion. Lashley got taken out of the match due to a concussion, because his pod got broken into as Seth Rollins hit like a power bomb onto the pod. They said that it was a concussion, but it was later on revealed that Bobby Lashley's been working hurt for the last few months with a shoulder injury. Therefore, he will be out for a number of months. Easy for me to say, which is meaning he'll miss WrestleMania, which is a massive shame. But the way they the way that it was done, the chamber having everyone come out and then Brock Lesnar come out last and then just destroying everyone, F5ing everyone and then eliminating them until Austin Theory was left, was just really deflating. I think you knew where it was going as soon as it happened to 2 of the other participants, and of course that means that we're getting Lesnar versus Reigns, title versus title at WrestleMania. Personally, I didn't want this. This match does not need both championships, and they could be doing a lot more with the WWE Championship in this situation. I think if they'd gone with Riddle versus Orton, like it was reported that they were going to go with, that would have been so much better. but instead we're going to get title versus title. I assume it'll probably be winner take all as well. But yeah, it's just like, it just seems like really lazy booking in my opinion. Like, we could be doing so much more, but we're just going with what they think we want, which is another double champion at WrestleMania. When we had Becky like 2-3 years ago now, and even then she lost it at like the next pay-per-view, and then she just kept the Raw championship. And I don't know who's gonna, because they don't want to defeat Roman, but they won't want him carrying both for like ages. So I don't know where they're going to go after WrestleMania. I mean, that's assuming that Roman wins. I mean, I definitely want Roman to win in this situation. I won't want nothing against Brock. I love Brock Lesnar as champion, but Roman Reigns is on such a tear at the minute that it would be silly to have Brock be the one to beat him and not like a new up and comer or something like that. But yeah, the Elimination Chamber match itself, as I said, it was very deflating as soon as you knew what was going to happen. But kudos to Austin Theory for taking that F5 off the pod onto the fucking solid part of the chamber, because that looked awful. But he seemed to be okay, which is good. But yeah, match itself was very meh, and I didn't enjoy it really. In my overall opinions of Elimination Chamber, where it was pretty average, the only really thing that stood out was the Becky Lynch and Lita match. Everything else just seemed like a bit of a slog, or it happened so quickly that it just, no one really got too excited about it to the point where they really enjoyed it, like the Women's Elimination Chamber. That could have been a great match, probably one of the best, but unfortunately it was over so quickly that it was all power moves and stuff like that by the time all six were in, or all six had been in, because there was 2 eliminations before the 6th entrant came in. But yeah, quite disappointed with that one. I had high expectations for the women's chamber match, but it didn't deliver. And Roman and Goldberg, I suppose, was the highlight in a way of, as again, Goldberg didn't win. And I understand why it was a quick match, as Goldberg doesn't get paid by the hour. But also, I don't think Goldberg could have a good match anyway. I know that his match against Bobby was decent, but I couldn't see it going anywhere past 10 minutes. I'm surprised it lasted as long as it did, in fairness. But yeah, again, average premium live event. I still getting used to calling it that instead of pay-per-view. But yeah, well, now it's now we move on to WrestleMania. There's no WWE premium live event for March. So yeah, I've got that to look forward to. WrestleMania is always fun, and hopefully it'll be a really good night. Or 2 nights, sorry. So those were my thoughts and opinions on Elimination Chamber 2022. Do comment below what you thought about the premium live event, and as always, like and subscribe, and I'll see you later.